Hello and welcome to another Thoughtful Leader video. My name is Ben Briley. I'm the founder of Thoughtful Leader because thoughtful leadership is good leadership. Today I want to talk to you about uncertainty. Now last year in 2020 was a great example of uncertainty. We had COVID-19, which was huge. Everyone all of a sudden started working from home when often people hadn't been used to that at all. Companies really had to change quickly. And we're still going through that now. Dealing with uncertainty is something that leaders always have to face, and we are living in times of change as well. Technological advances are rapid. Industries are changing. We've got new competitors coming in, forcing our organizations to change. So it makes sense that we're going to have to work in a lot of uncertainty. So today I want to give you some tips that I use to handle uncertainty. I used to do a lot of consulting work, and in that time I got thrown into into the deep end a lot of times where I didn't really know what was happening. I had to work it out. I wasn't familiar with the client, all this sort of stuff. And I worked my way through it, and I developed a series of tools and techniques that I think are useful to deal with uncertainty. They're not rocket science, but they can really help you and your team work through it. The first thing I like to do is to acknowledge uncertainty, to name it and to speak it out loud. Your team might be feeling uncertain, anxious, or yourself, you might be feeling that way too. And the first thing to do is name it. Tell people, hey, this isn't meant to be comfortable. There's uncertainty here. We've got steps to work it out, but this is going to be uncomfortable for a while. You may feel anxious, you may feel uncertain. Come and speak to me if you have any concerns. Name it, put it out there. Let people know that it's okay to feel uncomfortable when you're facing uncertainty. That's the first thing I think you should do. The second thing that's really important is develop a vision. So when it comes to uncertainty, what I find is we sort of know where we want to go, but we don't really know how we're going to get there. That's where a lot of the uncertainty, ambiguity comes in. So it's useful to develop a vision for your team or whatever you're doing, a project or some initiative in your workplace or your team itself. Develop a vision of the future, like an ideal future state. Here's how we want things to be when we get to where we're going. Having that vision is great because it lets people see, okay, we need to get there. We're not quite sure about how we're going to get there yet, but we will put the steps in place and the plan, and we will make it there. So the vision gives you something like a flag on the hill to look at, and you go, oh look, okay, we're going to make it onto that hill, but we don't know what's in the forest over there, right? That's okay, but the vision gives you a direction to go in. And when you're making decisions, you can use the vision to check, are we doing the right thing here? Are we going in the right direction or not? So create a vision. It can be a simple statement. It could even be a picture. You could draw a picture of where you want to be, whatever it might be. It comes in many forms. The next thing I like to do is be a bit systematic about the uncertainty, because people, when they're uncertain, can be very overwhelmed. They can feel like, oh, there's so many things I don't know. I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. That's rarely true. All you have to do is to document all the pieces that you don't understand. So what I like to do is to put together let's call it a uncertainty register, which basically means everything that I don't know or every question I have that I need to find the answer for, I'll write it down even in a spreadsheet, whatever it is, and you will go and develop some actions to work out how we're going to answer these questions. And what you're sort of doing is you've got a blank jigsaw puzzle. You know how you've got a jigsaw, you see the box and you've got the picture on the box. That's your vision. So what you're really doing is you are uncovering each part of the puzzle by slowly piecing it together with answering the questions, the things you don't understand. And that's how you will get through uncertainty. Another thing that's really handy is to use someone else's experience to help you. So if you're doing something that's new, and many people are, right? Even though somewhere in the world, someone may have done something similar to what you're doing right now, you probably don't know anyone that's doing the same work that you're doing in the exact same situation. So it can feel like you're going it alone and you don't know what you're doing. You're all by yourself. But it can be really useful to use other people's experience in similar situations. So what you can do, even a quick Google will tell you examples of, of where things went wrong in different projects, or when people were trying to do this thing, this is what happened, this is how they did it. You can even find in many cases, other organizations who have done similar things before may be on hand to help you and give you some advice. So I've worked in some companies before where we've reached out to other industries and said, hey, we're doing this thing. I know you did this a couple of years ago. Can we have a call with you and work and understand how you went about it? And a lot of people, usually if they're not direct competitors to you, will be very happy to share information, particularly between industries. So don't always think that you have to go it alone. Use experience from other people who've done it before. And that's why consultants can be good in those situations if they have worked on similar pieces of work before to help you cut through that uncertainty. But you also may have senior mentors. For example, if you've got a team problem and there's uncertainty in your team, you may have experienced people in your organization or elsewhere who can be a mentor for you and to help you get through the situation and cut through some of this ambiguity. Another thing I like to do is to make a plan for a plan. So sometimes people say, well, I don't know how to make a plan to get to that vision. I don't understand it. It's going to take ages to develop a plan. And that's okay. But, if your boss asks you what you're doing about this uncertainty or what are you doing to get to the vision and you don't have any answer at all, that doesn't look good. So what I do is make a plan for a plan, which means you're basically setting a deadline for when you will have a plan, and then your next task is really to develop that plan with your team or other people, whoever it might be. So you're developing a plan for a plan, so that's called a planning milestone. So you're setting a time in the future where you will have a plan and you will understand more. And that can at least give you a short-term target to hit, even if you don't understand how to get right to the end goal. So that's a really useful thing. And it means if someone asks you, what are you working towards? You say, well, by the 20th of whatever, I'm going to have that plan, and then we're going to know how much work we have to do going forward. And the last tip I want to leave you with is when you're dealing with uncertainty and you don't know how to proceed and you're a bit nervous and uncomfortable, you don't need to know exactly how you're going to get to that vision on the hill. You don't need to know. You really need to know what you're going to do next. You need to know the next thing you're going to do. Because if your boss asks you, what are you doing about it? You say, well, I'm doing this thing. It's not a good idea to say, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have any idea how to get there. This is where the planning milestone and a plan for a plan is really important, but the concept is simple. You don't need to don't stress about getting all the way to the end in one big go. Just know what you're going to do next. And then once you've done that, look what you're going to do next. Do next. Keep planning. Know what you're going to do next. Know what you're going to do next to cut out some of this ambiguity and uncertainty. That is how you'll get through it. I'm sure 2021 is going to throw up some curveballs and have us, wondering how we're going to get through it. So be prepared for that, and hopefully these tips will help you lead your team through uncertainty. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already to get future videos like this, and I will see you in the next one.